tone.
My name is Brienne and I'm 21. I'm still a college student majoring in drama and theater arts. Yeah, that's pretty much all about me. This is my story. Last summer, I met this guy through social media, and it turned out his sister was a friend of my friend, so it just made me let my guard down, and soon I was starting to like him. It felt like that was the right thing to do. His name is Sean. After we started dating, everything was fine. The first 3 to 4 months felt like heaven. We hardly quarreled or disagreed with each other. The few times when we did have our not so good moments, they never lasted more than an hour, and we would usually end it with intense sex. The sex was good, everything was perfect. Honestly, I was never big on marriage, but in those few months, I was starting to consider settling down with him in the future. After 4 months into our relationship, the journey started to become a little bit rough. At first, I just believed that it was normal. Everyone always says all relationships have their downs and ups. Maybe this was just our down. We would be up again very soon was what I always thought. Sadly, things never went the way I hoped they would. It kept going down and down every day. It only got worse. It started with him asking me to quit smoking. I honestly do not consider myself a heavy smoker. I smoke every day, but only at night. I love taking weed to just relax after a long day. I was surprised when he raised this with me at first because he obviously knew that I smoked before we got into this relationship. So why now? He claims that he feels inadequate whenever he hears me say that I need weed to cool off. Am I not enough? He would ask every time. I try to see things from his perspective, but honestly, I don't think that it is about him being enough. I think it's about who I am. He always tries to make it about himself. Shortly after this, he started disapproving of me hugging other male friends. I was already friends with some of these guys before we met. He always keeps pestering me about the need to set boundaries, but I feel like if boundaries need to be set, they should be set for him because he's like the invader in this case. I was very open about my relationships with them. I let him know which of my male friends I had ever been intimate with. I always assured him that nothing like that would ever happen between me and any of them in the future. I did all these just to make him feel safe and trust me, but it was pointless. He's always complaining. To be fair to him, in all of our arguments, he never really raised his voice at me, let alone being physical, but he would give me silent treatments until the next time we both feel horny, and then we'd make up after sex. This is one of the reasons why I love him, or at least why I thought I love him. We still remain in the relationship. I kept hoping that things would change and that one day he would trust me more. My friends kept advising me to leave him. Every day they would lecture me about how he is showing signs of a toxic and insecure boyfriend, but I never listened to them. I had experienced his good side, and I felt like I could still bring it out of him one more time, or maybe it was just the sex. So I just waited. Last month, I went to a party with some people from my college. They were mostly guys. I feel like it's not a big deal. You should know by now that I'm a men's lady, and you shouldn't judge me for that. Not yet, at least. My boyfriend didn't know about this party. He was obviously going to be grumpy about it, so I just decided to not tell him. The party was a fun one, and nothing much happened there. I just happened to meet a friend from senior year. We were intimate a few times during our school days, but that's all in the past now. That was what I thought. He was noticeably hotter and more masculine. He seemed to have grown into his body. Many filthy thoughts flowed through my mind, but I tried to shake them off. It is only normal for me to notice changes in someone I've been intimate with in the past. Maybe I had felt some things like my heart rate going up and some wetness down there, but that's just biology, and you can't really cheat nature. We partied and drank till like 2:30 in the morning after we went to the apartment of one of the guys. The apartment had 2 bedrooms. The guy who owned the apartment stayed in one of the rooms with his girlfriend. 2 other girls and a guy stayed in the other bedroom. I could have sworn that they had a threesome, but that's just by the way, because the worst is yet to happen to me. The rest of us were left to choose between staying on the couch or the floor. There were 2 couches and 3 of us left. Myself, 1 girl that I didn't know, and of course my old friend from high school. We let her have one of the couches since she was the stranger amongst us. He tried to be a gentleman and he let me have the couch. I was going to take the offer, but I do not know what came over me when I asked him to share the couch with me. The words had left my mouth before I could restrain myself. Don't judge me, I was drunk. He didn't resist one bit and snuggled behind me on the couch. A few seconds in, I could feel him breathing heavily on my neck. Maybe he had fallen asleep, I thought. I, on the other hand, was breathing about twice a minute, almost as if to not make my presence known. I could not imagine my boyfriend seeing me like this. What excuse could I possibly give? I would only prove him right of all his suspicions. I knew I had done something wrong. I was lost in my thoughts when I nearly rolled off the edge of the couch. Thanks to his quick response, his arm quickly wrapped around my torso. His arm went across my breasts, and I felt him gently ease into it. He didn't let go, and now I am sure he was never asleep all the while. For a few seconds, I forgot about my boyfriend, and I felt like I was in high school again. That night, I let him do everything he wanted to me, and I did all that I wanted to him. Right there on the cursed couch. It has been a month after the party, and I still cannot deal with the guilt. I cannot look at my boyfriend in the eye these days. I know clearly that I'm not the bad person in this relationship, and whatever happened was a mistake that could happen to any drunk 21-year-old. I'm calling just because I want to share my story and not because I do not know what to do. I will be meeting with my boyfriend tonight, and I plan to give him the best sex he's ever had. After that, I am going to have to end it. I think it's time we went our separate ways. It was long overdue.